10 lessons in 10 years of being a licensed doctor of physical therapy. I have them in front of my computer, so if you see me reading, that's why. Lesson number 1. These are in no particular order. However, lesson number 1 is the most important. Our patients are people first. Before someone is a shoulder or a knee or a hip, they are a person. They have memories, they have perception, they have values. Before they're a body part or a condition, they are a person. Treat them as such. Along with that, lesson number 2, everybody's different. Not everybody's different, everybody's different. As providers, we have to learn about you so that we can respect your biology, your anatomy, and your history as a person on this planet. Lesson number 2, everybody's different. Lesson number 3, this is for providers, ask better questions. I always tell the story of when we were students. One of my professors brought in a patient who he had been working on, and he let us do an exam on him, like 7 or 8 students, and we took an hour with this guy. We're putting his shoulder through all kinds of tests and measures, right? Every special test we can think of. At the end of the hour, we go to talk to our professor about it, and he goes, "Hey, Bill, tell them about your MRI." We didn't ask Bill if he had had any images. If we had asked Bill if he had had any images, he would have said, "Oh yeah, I have a torn rotator cuff." And we could have saved Bill and ourselves a lot of time and frustration if we learned to ask better questions. That's lesson number 3. Lesson number 4, an image tells us a piece of the puzzle. Goes back to the previous 3. An image tells us a piece of the puzzle. There have been study after study done where they take an image of a low back, let's say, and they ask the radiologist, hey, if they give them 100 images, they say, tell us who you think is in pain, based strictly on the image, and tell us who you think is not in pain. And there are people with perfectly, beautifully healthy spines who are in agony, and there are people with really messed up looking spines who are walking around perfectly fine. So an image tells us a very small piece of the puzzle and gives us a snapshot about that person in that moment in time. Lesson number 5, our lifestyle plays a significant role in our whole condition, especially in our musculoskeletal conditions. About 4 years ago, in a span of 6 months, I had 3 gentlemen. One was a lawyer, one was an accountant for the Postal Service, and one was like a businessman in New York. And basically all of them had told me in some way, shape, or form, like, oh yeah, I've spent the last 25 years eating Hot Pockets and sitting at a desk with a stressful job. And my knee hurts. Oh, and I've been on antidepressants for 40 years, and I sleep like garbage, and I don't have any hobbies that I like. I can't help your knee, brother. Like, I can't. It took me an awfully long time to realize, like, oh, start asking people, how are you sleeping? How's your stress levels? What are you eating like? And have you moved daily for the last 30 years? Our lifestyle plays a huge role in our body's condition. That was lesson number 5. Number 6, it's okay to be a real person with our patients. And I shout out Ryan Jones, who was my clinical instructor at Jumpstart Physical Therapy when I was doing my internship in Massachusetts. Ryan, we were in just outside of Boston. There were sub-zero days. I saw Ryan wear shorts every single day to work except for one. Ryan would cook candied bacon for Christmas and Thanksgiving and the Super Bowl, and he would bring it in and he would give it out to patients. Ryan, there was this jelly bean game that came out around Easter where you spun the wheel and you had to pick a blue jelly bean, and the blue jelly bean was either toothpaste or cotton candy. And he would say, okay, if you do these 10 reps perfectly, I'll take a risk at one of the jelly beans. We had trivia on the board every day. Ryan was a real person, and he was a beautiful balance of doing things professionally, but also being a person. He would tell us, like, we'd get a gift card from a patient who was about to discharge, and I would feel funny about taking it, and he taught me, he said, if that's how they want to prove, like, not prove, if that's how they want to show their gratitude for us helping them, who are we to say, no, I can't take that from you. You accept it with gratitude, and you move on. So he gave me permission in a world where I grew up with and in a schooling system, and my school was professional, show up, look a certain way, act a certain way, say certain words. Ryan taught me, it's okay, send them a Christmas card. It's all right. Okay? That was lesson number 6. Lesson number 7. The most dangerous tool in your kitchen is a dull knife. We had a patient come in who gave a talk to us. He was, poor guy, in his mid-30s, young 30s, quadriplegic, had jumped off the dock at his brother's bachelor party, broken his neck. And he gave a guest lecture to us, and that was my takeaway. The most dangerous tool in your toolbox, or the most dangerous tool in your kitchen, is the dull knife. He said, if you think you know what you're doing with a patient and you don't, you are going to hurt them or yourself. Know your limitations, know what you don't know, and if you are a dull knife in that area, go sharpen your skills and your set, or send them to a sharp knife. But do not try to do things with people and with patients that you are not capable of doing, and don't be a dull knife. It's the most dangerous tool in your kitchen. That was 7. Number 8. Energy, time, attention, effort, and money are all forms of currency. And I say this because I have worked in clinics in the last 10 years where we saw 8 patients in an hour and where we saw 1 patient in an hour. And every PT I know wishes we could give away our services for free because we know the world needs them. Energy, time, attention, effort, and money are all types of currency. If you want a provider to spend more energy, time, attention, and effort with you, you're probably going to pay them more money. If you are okay with less time, attention, energy, and effort, you will probably pay less money. I have nothing against insurance. I have nothing against physical therapists not wanting to take insurance. I think there's a time and place in the world for both. That I learned. Because I want to work in a model where people value my energy, time, attention, and effort. And I've worked in insurance-based models where people don't care about that. And they're happy to pay $10, $15, $20 copays to be in a room with 8 other patients. And I've worked in other clinics where people say, I don't want that. And they're happy to pay $200, $300 to have the energy, time, attention, and effort in a one-on-one setting with their physical therapist. So those are all forms of currency. That was 8. 9, there is not one thing that works for everybody. If you find a provider that says, oh, everybody responds to this treatment, laser, ice, heat, stim, voodoo, whatever it is, run the other direction. Doesn't exist. Maybe air. Maybe breathing. Maybe. And even in that case, we have to respect a person's biology and history and memory and the fact that they are a person with their own unique biology and anatomy. There is not one treatment. And it bothers me because every continuing ed that I've gone to in the last 10 years is like, yeah, you can use this on your patients on Monday morning. They don't know a jack about my patients. They don't know. They have no idea the population that I'm treating. They don't know if this is going to work for them. I could try it. But to be so ignorant to say, yeah, you can use this tomorrow. One treatment modality, one methodology, I've yet to find one that works for every single person. That is 9. And number 10, this is a good way to round it out. Your body responds to the demand that you put on it, for the most part. If you sit on the couch for 5 years, your body's going to respond in a way that it sat on the couch for 5 years. If you worked out hard for 5 years, your body's going to respond in a way that shows you worked out hard for 5 years. There's a principle in strength and conditioning called specific adaptations to imposed demands, SAID. In other words, if you don't use it, you lose it. That being said, this is an important sub bullet point here. Your age is simply the number of years or the amount of time that you have been given to accumulate repetitions. I'm going to say that again. Your age is the amount of time you have been given to accumulate repetitions. Because I have people who move like they're 50 and they're 90 years old, and I have people who move like they're 90 and they're 50 years old. And most of the time it comes down to, what have they been doing the last 40 years? What have they been doing the last 20 years? If you don't use it, you lose it. So that's it. Those are my 10 lessons in 10 years. There are more. There are probably dozens more. But those ones have stuck with me, and they're a combination of things I learned in school and lessons I learned in school and over the course of the last 10 years as a provider out practicing in the world. And that's it. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. This is why I end this with this phrase every single time. Because your energy, time, attention, and effort matter. They're currency. And you didn't pay me $1 for this video. I hope you found it valuable. You just spent your most valuable assets with me. Your energy, your time, your attention, your effort. Now listen, if you're in the car and you had me on in the background, you gave me your time. You didn't give me your attention. You didn't give me your energy. You didn't give me your effort. But you gave me your time. You didn't give me your money, right? You could pay, I know people who pay lots and lots of money to go to school, to go to movies, to go to sports games, and they spend their time on their phone. They haven't valued their money enough to give their energy, attention, and effort to the thing that they're attending. So if you spent your time, energy, attention, and effort with me today, if you do my workout videos and you're spending your effort with me, that's currency. Please, I have products, I got books coming out, I got all kinds of stuff waiting for you guys. Before you spend $1 with me, make sure you trust me with your energy, time, attention, and effort. Do that with me and anybody else you see on the internet, please. They are your most valuable things. You can always earn more money. You can always earn less money. You will never get more time. Where you spend your energy is limited. Your attention, which kind of goes along with energy, and your effort. They're your most important assets. Use them wisely. I appreciate you. Keep moving. Keep getting better every day.